I'm looking at This Is the Sea by the Waterboys. Another ukulele lesson video. If it's your birthday, especially if it's your 50th birthday, then happy birthday. If it's not, then please ignore that. Okay, so in this song, we've really only got two chords, two actual proper chords in the song. It's E to A. Now it's obviously played on the guitar, on the original acoustic guitar, probably a 12 string. But you can play it on ukulele. The only problem with it is that the two chords E and A is really easy on a ukulele, but E is a bit of a tricky chord for a lot of people. So I'm going to show you a couple of alternative shapes for E. And there's one point in the song where the bass note changes, so it makes the guitar chord, it's actually an A chord at one point, and it makes the chord sound like something different because of the bass note. I think the guitar chord stays on an A. But on ukulele, if you play an F sharp minor at that point, I'll tell you when that is, that's an easy chord and it makes it sound more like the song, even though it's probably not what Mike Scott's doing on the guitar. But it's a way of making it sound like a combination of the guitar and the bass from the record. Right, so the two chords we need, E and A. Just look at A first, which you may already know, but just in case you don't. Second finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. First finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. The other two strings are open, so it's this. So that's A. And now E is a tricky one really. The proper shape for E is first finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then your other three fingers in 4th fret, 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th. So it's a bit of a squash, especially on a soprano uke like this. Now, a lot of people find that difficult to squash your fingers in. Some people use just one finger here, and if it bends, so it lets this note come through, I find that a bit awkward. I would probably do it like this. Another way you can do it is keep the first finger and the little finger where they are, but use 3rd finger over both of those strings, so it just flattens down. That works as well. So however you do it, it can be a bit awkward. I've even known people to use their thumb. Some people find that easier. Okay, now there's an alternative to that shape for an E chord. Now there's a chord called E7 which looks like this, which you may or may not know, which is 1st fret on that string, on 4th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 2nd string's open, and 2nd fret on the 1st string. So it's... Now that's an E7 chord. Now you can't use that in this song instead of an E. Sometimes you can in certain songs. In this song that won't work. So you can't play E7. But what you can do, and this always works if ever you need an easier shape for an E chord, is you hold the E7 shape, and with this finger, don't actually push hard on the string to get the note. Just touch very lightly. So all you're doing is muting the string like that. But the other two fingers have to push properly. So you've got... Now, doing it like that, isolated, it just sounds bizarre. That. But when you're strumming in a song, it doesn't notice. You don't hear that. So it's a good way of playing a simpler E chord, because without that string being involved, this is still just an E chord. So that's one that I'd recommend. So for most of the song, we're just playing E to A. The only time where we want to just change that slightly, the thing I mentioned earlier about the F sharp minor, is whenever in the song, whenever he sings "That was the river, this is the sea," as soon as you hear that part, instead of just E to A, play E and then F sharp minor followed by A. Now F sharp minor is an A chord with 3rd finger on 2nd string, 2nd fret. So we go from E, F sharp minor, then A. And the F sharp minor and the A there both take up the same amount of time that the usual A chord does on its own. So they're both a bit shorter than the E chord at that point. I just want to talk about the rhythm and the strum for this. Now the basic strum pattern, if I just mute my strings, wants to be something like this. So it's down, down, up, down, down, down. So you do that on the E chord like this. And when you're playing the E chord, whether it's that one or that one, you do that twice. So it's... Now with any strum, you don't have to stick rigidly to that exact pattern, but just keep your arm moving in that sort of sequence. And if you accidentally hit the strings when you're not intending to, or if you miss them when you're meant to be playing them, it won't really matter as long as you keep that movement. Look at this one. When you go to the A, start off with one of those patterns. So it's... And you could just do another one, but if you want it to sound more like the song, what you can do is this. There's a chord called A add 9, which is this, where you just add that finger onto 2nd fret 1st string. So it's a bit like the F sharp minor I was talking about, but different string. So that's A add 9. And what you do is play down, add your finger on, up, up, up. So it's... and then do that again. So I'll just demonstrate that by playing the standard strum pattern on the A, followed by that little bit. I'm doing it a little bit slower than the song. So now I'm going to play E with that strum pattern twice that we were doing, then A with the normal strum pattern, followed by that little bit. Okay, and you'll notice there I was playing that version of E with the muted note. That takes a little bit of getting used to because you're pushing hard with 2 fingers and not with this one. But when you do get used to it, it makes it a bit easier than trying to squash in for this E. Okay, and that's really the whole song. All you have to remember is when it goes to the chorus part and he sings "That was the river, this is the sea," then you just change. Instead of doing the A with the extra add 9 thing, we don't do it at that point. We just do F sharp minor followed by A. I'm just going to demonstrate that. And later in the song that goes around several times, that part. It's really easy to follow because if he's singing "That was the river, this is the sea," then you do that. You don't have to because the basic chord is still just an A, so you don't have to put the F sharp minor in, but I think it sounds good. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate the normal sequence for most of the song. I'll play that twice, and then I'll play the bit with the F sharp minor after that twice. Okay, and that's really everything in the song. So that's quite a nice one to play on ukulele. It's a shame that there's an E chord involved because E's not the nicest chord to play on here. You could play this song in a different key if you were just playing it with someone singing it, or in a band or something. You could do it in a different key, that would make it easier. But the version I've just shown you that'd be the correct chords to play along with the actual song. So any questions, please put them in the comments. And if you haven't clicked like already, then do, unless you hated it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do that as well. Okay, thanks.